Hi, my name is Dan Bidondi. I'm a talk show host for TruthRadioShow.com. And the purpose of this video today is to tell you what I experienced in a divine vision, in a dream. And I know I sound like a kook to a lot of people, and people asking, why are you coming out now about this? Because this happened back in the early 2000s, and we are now into May of 2019. And people ask, why are you coming out now to tell us? Well, I've been watching a lot of videos about other people in the faith who have came out with visions, telling the story and the testimonies on the visions and whatnot they had in their dreams, and it took them years to do that. I'm like, you know what? That's a point, because like them, same with me here, we all were afraid of public scrutiny, afraid of people deeming you as a nut job or whatever, because a lot of people that don't know this knowledge will simply dismiss it as somebody that's a lunatic, you know what I mean? But at this point, I don't care anymore, because the whole thing, too, what I, knowing the Bible now like I know it, I'm like, you know what? These prophets, they didn't wait. They told people what they seen right away. And what's the point of having a vision if you don't talk about it? You know what I mean? There's no point, and we wouldn't have a Bible today, you know? So, long story short, I'm going to get right to the point here, because there's a lot of people out there right now who are denying the whole Exodus story, that the Jews made it all up, it was all fake. They're denying the Holocaust. We're going to get into a whole video about that, because these people have no idea what the heck they're talking about at all. So anyway, on to the Exodus thing. Now, back then, I was pretty much knowledge in the Bible, but not enough. And I still, nobody's ever enough knowledge in the Bible, to tell you the truth. But as I was exploring into the truth movement, because I started a few years before that, I was getting to learn all this other stuff. And I'm going to do a whole story on my whole background. This way people can relate and understand what I'm talking about. But long story short, I'm going to just get to the point that I started questioning it too. And I started to question the whole Exodus thing and everything else, and even the Holocaust and all that. And I did research. I'm like, these people are a joke, because there's no historical information to back them up. Then I'm like, yeah, there are people, they erased history, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something better. I'm going to ask God myself. I prayed one night to God, say, God, if that, please tell me the truth so I could go preach the truth. And I think it was that night, morning, whatever, because I was to work third shift. I slept during the day. I went to sleep, and I had this dream, and I came into the dream. I'm in this, like a temple or something, whatever, but it was Egyptian hieroglyphics everywhere, and the gold stands and this, that, all the little nuke gods and all that stuff from the Egypt and all that. So I'm in this place there, and I'm looking around, and all of a sudden this man comes walking around the corner. He had the Egyptian garb on and all that stuff, and you could tell he was somebody of authority. And he was like, I couldn't tell what his skin would look like. He was like a little bit dark, because of the Egyptians being out in the sun. He didn't say nothing. He looks at me. I'm looking at him, like, both of us, like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, so he didn't, without saying a word, I'm looking at him. He waves like this and points to his left. So I walk toward him, and he brings me to this balcony. And later on, I actually realized who it was. It was actually Moses when he was a prince of Egypt, before he freed the slaves. So as I'm walking to the balcony, I can see the bright sun out there, the blue sky, and I started seeing the pyramids. I'm like, big and bigger than, larger than life. I'm like, wow. I'm like just in awe. As I'm going out to the balcony, I get to the balcony, I'm just like amazed by that, and I hear all kinds of sounds you can imagine. Screaming, yelling, talking, whips going off, animals making that sounds, and the sounds of carts and everything else. And which I assume was Moses. He's standing beside me. He waves his arm out like that, like behold. You know what I mean? He didn't say nothing. Behold, I look down, multitudes of people. You have all the Egyptians in their, the clothing, whatever. They're whipping people. You have seen carts being pulled by animals and the people, which were the Jews. The Jewish were all dressed in all these different colored clothing. And, scientists say, oh, people dream black and white. Well, that's not the case. That's a bunch of hogwash for anybody to even say that. Because I remember, to this day, I could see visually what they were wearing. Fully colored clothes, as far as I can see. Was people, multitudes of people, Jewish people. Stomping in the the mud to create the bricks with the straw and everything. All the details, as if I was watching the movie or something, in detail as if I was there in the movie. And now I'm like, as I'm seeing this, I can feel the sun just belching on my, I don't know how to say that in the right way, the sun just beaming on my head, okay? I'm just trying to come out a proper word for that. Scorching my head, I'm sorry, okay? Because I got all this information, I'm trying to get it out here in a quick amount of time, because everybody who follows me knows I do hour videos. I don't want to do that just about 10 minutes if I can. The sun was scorching me. So I'm watching all this for minutes, and the sun's scorching me, and I felt the touch of my shoulder by what I, again, assumed to be Moses, and I started fading out. Everything got bright. Then all of a sudden, my wife, she's waking me up. I was covered in sweat. My face was beet red, and I guess she said I was moving and everything, and like mumbling something, and she woke me up, because she was concerned what was going on. She seen me boiling in sweat, and just my face beet red like a lobster. So she thought I was having a heart attack, whatever the case was. And then I told her what I seen, and she was astonished by it. Really, and so I really believe that was a divine vision by God. And again, the people could call me a nut, but I don't care. I really don't. You know what I mean? And what's the purpose of this video? Is to tell you and show you my account, okay, how God showed me that this Exodus story was real. That the slaves were the Jews were slaves in Egypt. And how can I prove that to you? I can't. I'm going to tell you right now, I can't prove that to you. You could take this whole testimony as a grain of salt. And what I could do to help you out, though, and again, a lot of people going to dismiss this, call me a nut job, and the trolls are going to hit me left and right like they usually do. But I don't care. You know what I mean? And how could people find this out for themselves? And again, I can show you the door. I can't make you walk through it. So I just urge you, pray to God. If you want to know truth, pray to God. And you can take my testimony as a grain of salt, like I said, and God bless you. You know what I mean? But just to see these things like as if I was really there. And I really, truly believe I was. I really do, and just everything. As I mean, you go on a vacation, right? Just say the vacation of your lifetime, right? You remember everything for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? You remember that. And dreams, people forget them minutes, hours later, sometimes months, whatever. And again, we're in May of 2019. This happened in the early 2000s. I want to say about 2003 or whatever it was. And I still remember that as if it was yesterday. And this is one of many things, visions and dreams and encounters I had. I'm going to start coming out with a bunch of videos about all this stuff. And I'm going to come out with a video, too, proving that the Holocaust did happen. Because I spoke to many survivors. And I don't want to get off topic here, but I'm going to come out with a video on that, too. But I'm going to do a series of videos on the spiritual warfare and the spirituality that since I was a kid, I can remember. I've witnessed and been through myself. Many, many things that happened I remember as if it was yesterday, when I was like 4 or 5 years old and so on. You know what I mean? So, again, this is, God, his confirmation to me that his people were slaves in Egypt. The Exodus story did happen. And I'm also going to link a movie, it's a documentary movie by James Cameron. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called The Exodus Conspiracy or something like that. He creates this documentary with a researcher that proves the Exodus story real. He interviews people on both sides of the fence that say it's fake, or a scientific explanation of the certain events that happen, and he gets all sides and proves beyond a shadow of doubt that the Exodus did happen. So I'm going to link it in here as well. And again, click like, share, and just follow me if you can. Subscribe to my channel. We're just trying to get the information out, and people are coming out everywhere, as you can see, with visions and dreams, because the Bible said this would happen. And I truly believe why I waited this long to tell people, because I truly believe it was not my time yet. I was waiting for God to let me know, and I feel that it is time to come out with the stuff, because we're in the end times. It's no denying it anymore, and people need to wake up. Bidondi, TruthRadioShow.com. God bless and shalom. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com.